Welcome to our Gatorloop live stream. We're excited to have you today. Welcome also to the class of 2024. If you guys are just now joining the Gator Nation, we're very happy to have you on board, have you on campus eventually. And also welcome any Gator engineering students as well. If you guys have tuned in, we have some really great Gator engineering students on our team. So we're excited to have you all. We're going to walk you through today a little bit about our team, and we have some members to present on some of the things we've done and where we're going in the future. And we're going to give you a little bit of an overview on what we do and what Hyperloop is as a whole. So thanks for being here. My name is Derek Deal. I am the outgoing president for Gatorloop. I've been on the team since 2018, and I've had the chance of serving first as the VP of business and then as a president for a little over a year. And this is by far the most amazing experience I've had during my time at UF. It's been incredible. And I'm going to introduce you to some of our next members coming up in a minute. But most importantly, let's get into our presentation. Now, guys, what we do is we build Hyperloop technology. We are one of the premier Hyperloop student organizations in the state of Florida and nationally recognized as well. The Hyperloop competition is an international competition, and we'll kind of get into that for you. But the premise and the basis of everything we do is because we believe in a cleaner, safer, and faster future of transportation. And we believe that Hyperloop is the answer to that. So Hyperloop, and at its core, is they're high-powered electric vehicles for high-speed transportation. A very cool way to think about this is what we tell our team is it's essentially a bullet train in a vacuum-sealed tube, right? So we're rethinking what high-speed, safe, and clean travel look like, right? We can go at the speed of a plane, but at the accessibility of a train. And this is what we think of and how we approach everything we do as a student design team to figure out how we can contribute to this future of transportation. So at the core of what we do and what I've been preaching to our team for the past year is that our mission is to foster the growth of our students in order to create the most advanced Hyperloop systems in Florida. So when you join our team, you're instantly part of a family, and we'll definitely touch on that too, on how you guys can get involved in other ways. But it's important that everyone that joins the team be able to come out learning something new and becoming a stronger engineer and a business student at the end of the day. We make sure to invest in our people first, because in my opinion and in our team's opinion, if you invest in your people first, the technology will create itself. So we put a lot of time and energy into making sure our students learn things that are productive and also grow as people on our team. Now, what I'd like to show you is a little bit about what our competition really is. So we believe in Hyperloop. We believe it's the future of transportation, and we're doing our part to help advance that. And so by doing so, we're competing in the annual SpaceX Hyperloop Pod competition. And here's just a quick overview of what that competition looks like.
What this competition is about is encouraging people to think about new modes of transport, things that could radically transform cities and the way people get around. And what you're working on is the only thing I'm aware of that could actually be a radical improvement of this current state of the art.
Pumping down. The team is doing their final countdown once more. Everything looks good to go.
5, 4, 3,
2, 1. Awesome. This is a really good example of what you all can be a part of if you join our team. And this is what we do every summer, or at least attempt to do. This competition is international. There are thousands of teams across the world that compete in this competition. It is extremely difficult to do. But we've placed very well in this competition over the past few years, which our next speaker will touch on a little bit. But I want to bring it back to home base and bring it back to the University of Florida. And I would say that, of course, there's plenty of really awesome student organizations on campus, especially engineering organizations. But what makes Gatorloop unique is that we do invest in our students first. That is everything we do with all of our hearts, is we focus on our students and what we can teach them and how they can grow. But at the very core of that is we kind of run things like a startup in many ways. Is we try to innovate fast. We move very fast as well, and we think about the future in creative, innovative ways, which is why we've chosen Hyperloop as our project. And we're going to keep innovating, and we hope you guys can join our team at some point. So thanks. That's enough for me. I'm going to pass it off to Skylar Levine. He's our incoming president, and he's going to tell you a little bit more about our team specifically.
Awesome. Thanks, Derek. So as Derek mentioned, my name is Skylar. I'm currently a third year. I'm majoring in mechanical engineering, and I am the incoming president of Gatorloop. I'm really thrilled to be in this position, and I really look forward to seeing what our team can accomplish this year. But I don't want to get too much into me. I want to introduce everyone to our team. I think the best way of doing that is by starting from the beginning. So starting with the middle left, the Hyperloop competition was started in 2015, and our team was formed in 2016. But as you can see from the middle left, the picture was actually taken in 2017 in Hawthorne, California, where our team competed with other world-class teams in the Hyperloop competition. Next is the top right, which was the last competition year that we had, where we competed again and placed top 50 of thousands of teams worldwide. And then finally, it's the bottom right, which is our current team. And we're currently working and improving ourselves as engineers as SpaceX kind of preps a new competition for us. But this team isn't really the only place that our members improve themselves. Our members have gone to intern and work at various companies, some of which you guys may recognize, SpaceX, Tesla, Disney, Microsoft. And the list isn't just limited to this. Our members always go above and beyond. But you only learn so much by looking at our past. So I want to pass it on to Mark, who's going to go over our team's vision for 2020.
Thanks, Skylar. So, hey everyone, my name is Mark Itkin. I'm the current Vice President of General Affairs. I've been with this team now for 2 years and going into my third year with the team as a mechanical engineering major with a computer science minor. So to tell you guys a little bit about what we do, I want to show some of these projects that we've been working on over the past year. So one of the main projects we've been working on is to test some of our electrical and computer systems while also having our mechanical students get a chance of designing a actual pod-like vehicle, and that is our Tiny Pod project. I'll talk a little bit more about it in the following slide, but I also want to talk about some of these other projects that we've been working on and we're really hoping to implement over this next year, including the Hyperloop track, where we want to be able to test our own vehicles on our own track, as well as do small tests on our own terms. And this goes into another portion where we're trying to improve our infrastructure and our overall reach when it comes to Hyperloop technology and knowledge. And we've actually started creating a business plan and an overall idea for how to implement a Hyperloop vehicle traffic management system in the form of the Hyperloop intelligence systems, where our idea is to develop an algorithm, develop a possible plan how to control Hyperloop pod fleets when Hyperloop becomes a more prevalent transportation. And so to tell you a little bit more about TinyPod, which is just one of the few projects that we have planned for this year. TinyPod, we started back in the beginning of 2020, and we've gotten really far and really quickly, and that's all thanks to our engineers and the work they put in. We were able to design a good portion of our pod and present it to a panel of professors within 2 months of the beginning of this project. And that just goes into to show how much our engineers are really happy and ecstatic about doing these types of really high-tech projects for the University of Florida. And once we get our chance to finish designing and then go into the manufacturing phase of TinyPod, we'll have some more data to work with for the following competitions so we can implement into a full-scale pod. But when it comes to all of these projects that we're working on, there has to come some type of skills that you use to actually put these things to the test and to make them. And we as a team, we help our students to get experience with some of these skills, and then they get to try and use them in these projects. And so just to name a few, we've got finite element analysis, which is really important for testing mechanical systems for their structural integrity and whether or not they can deal with certain stress situations. We've got some network communications, which is really important as well when it comes to making sure that we can still get data back and send data to our pod over long distances when it's on the track. And this also goes into just generally with all the products that we've been working on, how do you manage it? And we have our members take on different team roles in order to better understand what it takes to manage different sizes of projects and to get that experience in addition to marketing our brand and helping us get sponsorships that we can continue doing all of these cool things. And to tell you a little bit more about some of the things that they've learned over this past year, I want to introduce one of our two freshmen, former freshmen on our stream today, and he'll tell you a little bit more about what he's learned over the past year in Gatorloop. Alex Gualto.
Thank you, Mark. Hello, everybody. I'm an up-and-coming sophomore studying aerospace engineering. And I would just like to start off by saying that this team has allowed me to learn a lot, as well as develop as a person. This team provides me with the chance to utilize creativity towards thinking up ideas to solve specific problems from scratch, which I would say is an important skill to have as an engineer. In addition to just coming up with solutions, I would say it's also developed my communication skills, which I can use to effectively express the ideas that I have with other students, if they don't understand it from the get-go. By being able to express these ideas and sometimes brainstorming with fellow engineers and students, it has improved my problem-solving skills to the point that I can actually utilize it in real-life scenarios, because it's kind of one thing to learn stuff in class, but actually applying it to real-life things will make it a lot easier for the future. And specifically, I can say that I've been on 2 sub-teams where I've created 3D models of various systems, and more recently, I've run an analysis on one of those models to determine the effects that certain loads would have. Overall, I would say that this team really cares about each of its members, and it wants to see each person grow to be the very best person or engineer, whatever major you are, that you can be, as long as you're dedicated and really want to achieve great things. So I just want to say thank you, everyone, for your time. I will now be handing it over to Frank Vaughn.
Hello, my name is Frank, and I'm an up-and-coming sophomore majoring in electrical engineering, and I'm part of the power systems team, which is a subgroup of electrical. And I joined the team as a freshman, basically knowing nothing. That includes things like soldering or even diagram analysis. My initial outlook on the team was that I just wanted to join the team in order to learn or improve my own skills and not actually make large contributions to the team. And however, that was false. And by the end of my first semester, I eventually learned how to solder by working on my own project, which was assigned to me by a senior member. And that's one of the good things about Gatorloop, is that the senior members have small projects for you to do, which helps you learn skills that are necessary for you to succeed in the club. And by focusing on one small component of the larger picture, I was able to lead myself in the right direction. And I was eventually able to work on the battery management system, which is part of the battery. And what it basically does is it prevents the battery from overcharging itself or giving off too much power, which can mess up the whole system. And one thing about Gatorloop is that you need to have good teamwork skills, and that's something that's taught to you by everyone, because everyone loves talking or helping you improve your own skills. And I will be passing it back on to Skylar. Thank you.
Awesome. Thanks, Frank and Alex, for you guys', for sharing your guys' experience. But I really want to emphasize that Gatorloop is not just a technical club. We are very social, we're community-based, and as Derek has mentioned a lot just recently, we're a family. And to talk more about that, I want to pass it on to Jana.
Thank you, Skylar. Hello, everyone. My name is Jana Klaas, and I'm an incoming student double majoring in mechanical engineering and business. And I'm also the Vice President of Business and Innovation here at Gatorloop. And here's my story. Before joining Gatorloop, I was in another design team like most of our team members, and I feel like no other team at UF has this warm family vibe where people actually care for one another. I knew that especially because I didn't really have friends here in Gainesville. Not just in Gainesville, in America. I moved here a year ago from a completely different part of the world. And now, thanks to my teammates who are also my friends, I have adapted to the new culture. At Gatorloop, we value people. We value our members and we strive to help everyone with whatever we can. Beyond that, here we also help with classes. Our junior and senior students can act like your peer student advisors. We organize resume and cover letter workshops along with just team socials. Over quarantine, we had game nights, weekly hangouts, and we even went to the SpaceX launch together. Once again, our mission is to foster the growth of our students to create the most advanced Hyperloop systems in Florida. Our members are committed, eager to learn, reliable, adaptable, and outspoken. And that's what makes us a better team. That's it. Now we can proceed to the Q&A session.
All right, so yep, we can go into the Q&A. If you guys have any questions, and go ahead and please type them into the YouTube chat. If you have any directed questions, and please be sure to put down who's directed towards. And we're going to go ahead and start with the ones that have already been asked. So first question was asked by David was, do you guys accept freshmen? Yes, definitely. All levels of education are encouraged to join. We think you guys can, we think it's by joining a club like us, or just by joining a club, you're able to hone your skills, learn more that you would, inside the classroom. So it's encouraged at any level for you guys to join. Let's see. If we want to go ahead to the next slide, if you're interested in learning more about the team or interested in joining, you can go ahead and scan this QR code and we'll be able to reach you and you'll be able to reach us. And yep. Let's see.
So is this being recorded? As I already mentioned in the chat, this will be on our Gatorloop channel later on. So you can definitely watch it over again if you would like. Next question we've got, if you're not a UF student, UF Santa Fe, both colleges, you guys are more than welcome to take part in this team. That's for sure. What are some types of meetings that are held and how often do you meet on average? So most of the time our general meetings, we have general body meetings once a month, and that goes along with the separate sub-team meetings that we'll have in order to advance our different objectives in our projects. And so those will depend on the sub-teams themselves in terms of when they meet, but we also have the GBMs that will meet every other week or once a month. Okay. What location will systems be worked on? So these systems, we have a workshop over at Solar Park, which is a facility owned by the University of Florida. And we work on some of our physical systems there at the workshop. And then we also have a lot of work that we can do. And we do have done on online through different analysis systems and softwares that we have at our use. How much time per week is it required? Frank or Alex, how much time do you guys think that you put into the team over this past year per week?
I would say that on a busy week, I put in, like 10 hours, but on like a less busy week, it was maybe 2 hours. So it's like around that range, at least for me.
I say it sometimes depends on like what some of the senior members have you do. Like I'd say about like 5 to basically 10 for me.
And for us, a lot of it has always been that the more you put in, the more you get out of it. We don't have it necessarily, you have to do this amount of hours per week. We want to help you as much as we can, but we can only do so much if you're not able to make the time. So whatever time you want to put into it, we will be there to help you out and for you to actually be able to get your hands on and work on some of this cool tech. Andres asked, how are meetings affected by the pandemic? Are limits on the amount of times we can go in? So in terms of how meetings are affected, as per UF guidelines, all of our meetings at the beginning, at least, will be online, so that we can make sure that we have no issues with spreading the virus or whatnot. So you can definitely, we'll have a lot of those online through Zoom and other services. And in terms of the amount of times you can go in, at the moment, we have a contact with the mechanical and aerospace department, and we work with them for when we can go in to the workshop. But for now, most stuff is going to stay online, and we still have many things to do without having to travel to the workshop. As a freshman, how much help can we offer? I guess this goes back to Frank and Alex. What do you guys think? How much help do you guys think that you offered over your first year in Gatorloop?
Well, I can't really quantify it but I'll definitely say that I have offered quite a bit of help, even though I didn't really know what I was doing in the beginning. Like the team, at least for my lead, was like teaching us how to do certain things. So you're gonna spend some time learning a couple of things, but at the same time, because you're kind of learning these new things, there might be some of those like tiny details that the older members might forget or something like that, and you'll just remind them. More specifically, like I did a 3D model, which, it's like, it's not the easiest thing, but it's also not the hardest thing. So that would be a good thing to do. Also running around with like the analysis, like we've been using an analysis software, playing around with that, that'll help with the future. So yeah, that's some of the things I've done.
Yeah, and personally as well. Oh, Frank, you want to go ahead?
Yeah, I was gonna say that like on like the smaller teams, you can sometimes contribute a lot, because sometimes they have to do stuff like order materials, and most of the time you can that'll allow you to do like some research about what parts go into what components, and that can be really helpful to help you learn. But it can also help out the team a lot, because sometimes the senior members are working have to make diagrams which you as a freshman can't make, but by researching the materials needed, you can sometimes help out a lot.
Yeah, and personally, I started off with this team as a freshman, and although at the beginning I didn't really feel like I was contributing that much, then as I started, continuously staying with the team, I saw that I was able to contribute, even going so far that when it came to producing our final design package for the SpaceX competition, I was leading the team in terms of finalizing and compiling that entire document. So even if you don't feel like you're really there right now in technical expertise, there's definitely a lot of things that you can do and that we ask you to do that will still allow you to get experience and get familiar with what it is to be part of a design team. All right, next question. How will new members be able to get involved and learn when everything will be online for a while? Good question. So actually, it's one thing that we've been putting together recently is we've put together a new member onboarding website where we're providing resources that from our members to learn some of the things. So for example, on the mechanical side of things, we have tutorials for our analysis software that we've set up, and so that you can read through some of the information we provided, learn a bit more on what it goes behind the scenes in the analysis, as well as watch some videos to get familiar with some basic analysis in the software. And we have similar things for our electrical, and we're lining up some more things on the business side and other sectors. Okay, how often do you travel, and are we responsible for our own travel expenses? So at the moment, we won't be traveling very much. But when it does come to travel, we do try to raise funds to get as many people as we can, and so that people don't have to be paying for the travel expenses. So that'll be working with the university and other sponsors that we have. And that would be for the traveling for the SpaceX competition and any other smaller points of travel that sometimes you don't even need to necessarily have to get on a plane or not. It's just a car drive away. Is Gatorloop open to only specific majors? No, it's open to whatever major wants to put their work, put their knowledge to helping us expand as both a design team and essentially as a startup. Although we are a design team first and we compete in the competition, a really big thing for us is to be able to show that what we know about the Hyperloop tech and how much we want to see it grow and become an actuality. So engineers, business majors, anyone like in our any major. If you guys want to learn, if you guys want to take part in this new technology, we're more than happy to have you and help you get familiar and be prepared to help us out. I see a lot of Gators in the chat.
All right.
So as questions start to die down, I just want to say before I head out, I'd love for some of our other members to also touch on some things here. But like I said, I am the outgoing president, and I'm happy to do one of my last stints here on this live stream. It's very exciting to see the next wave of leadership step up to the plate. And it's awesome to see over 20 people in our live stream now. And normally what we do at the beginning of every fall semester is have a massive GBM or general body meeting where we have a ton of students come in, a lot of people asking these similar questions as well. And love shaking hands and meeting people. We can't do that this year. So we're doing a lot to adjust online, like Mark touched on a little bit, and we're going to continue to do that. So, guys, please stay in touch and make sure you're asking us questions throughout and getting involved. And by following us on all of our socials and our website, you're going to know when our meetings are, and you're going to know how to stay involved and how we can both, us and you, provide value to each other and really just get you the experience you need and help us work on some really cool tech. Now, I want to turn it over to Skylar to see if he can answer that last question.
Yeah, of course. So Andre said, would I need to register for the ENG 4912 class to participate? No, you wouldn't. It's open to any major, any person really. In order to use some tools and workshops, you will need some experience, and that might include taking DML. But that's not guaranteed. You can still work on a team without taking certain classes. So no, don't worry about it. Yeah. So I think if there is no other questions, then I want to thank you all for attending. And as Derek said, check out all of our socials, and please don't forget to check out the interest form if you are interested in connecting with us or joining.
Thank you again, everyone.
Go Gators.
Mazel tov.